Once again, it's 10 a.m. It's Wednesday, November the 30th, 2017. You know what time it is, folks, out there. It's time for the right side of campus. Wake up with us. Pour that coffee. You see right back there in that little refrigerator there, the Monsters. They've already been down. We're ready to go. We're feeling good about this. A lot to talk about and go over. Obviously, you know, it's an NFL football game tonight. College basketball card, NBA card, NHL card, championship weekend here in college football should be a lot of fun to go over. Some good games on Sunday as well. You know me, I'm an Eagles fan, so is the big man on campus. Will join us here in just a few moments once he gets his computer straight there. Big game, big matchup weekend. Welcome to everybody that's going to be joining into the show today. We'll have a lot of fun. As I said, it's the morning show. It gets you ready to go. We got some topics picked out that me and the big man will go over. You saw us yesterday on the round table going back and forth on a multitude of decisions. Me and the big man don't always agree on everything, and that's why it's always an enjoyable and fun show to do out there here for you people. If we go over here, let's get some business out of the way, folks. Why are we here at sportsbookreview.com? To protect you, the gambler. You're trying to get some money down on these games this weekend? Folks, go to sportsbookreview.com, check in, see who's giving out the fastest bonuses, who's paying out the fastest, which book fits your needs, complete coverage of every single offshore book that you want to get down with. If you're having a problem out there with getting your payment quick enough, maybe something's going a little bit awry, one of the sports books, reach out to sportsbookreview.com. We're here to help you out. Also, a free odds service, sbrodds.com. If you haven't found out, we've been pimping this for a while, folks. It's free. When that line moves, know instantly there. Completely free service, sbrodds.com. Give us a follow there on Twitter at SBRSportsPicks. Fantastic site to follow there on Twitter. We're giving out quips, everything. And if you notice, when you tweet at us there, we usually tweet you back. Not one of those companies that said, hey, let those mentions pile up. We'll get at you. We'll have some fun and certainly be able to do it. And also, folks, if you're watching right here on YouTube, right here, right now, hit the subscribe button. Why is that? Every single time anybody goes live here on sportsbookreview.com, get that notification. Join us here in the chat box. Coming in early here, Thomas, Jim, YYC Golfer, Lucky777, Guan White. If you're seeing just me on the screen right now, the big man on campus will be up here in just a few moments. It's computers. It's live here. You never know when your computer's going to shut down, freeze up, or certainly get you into a little bit of trouble there. Who knows what Jeff had on his browser history last night? Am I right? You know what I mean? So we'll be here with us in just a few moments. But there is some key stuff going on today. If we take a look, last night I know Jeff's going to want to come in here flying high using the reverse jinx to absolute perfection last night with the Duke Blue Devils. We'll have some fun with that because me and Jeff, big believers in gambling karma. So he'll be able to tell a little bit about that Duke Blue Devils game. We'll have some fun with it and why we put out the reverse jinx as opposed to saying we've already won the game when there's about 5 to 6 minutes ago when it still looks good. Always wait to the last minute. But when we go over the reverse jinx, quote-unquote, technology that we like to use, it sometimes does come in handy. Satan's in here in the morning. Raymond, Coker, DP13, Adam, good morning to everybody. Let's have a good show today and certainly have a lot of fun. If we take a look tonight, the big man, you back here yet for us? The BMOC, I think we got him. Oh, hey. Welcome back, big man. Maybe we don't have him right now. Huh. All right, we'll keep pressing along here.
I'm having video today.
You hear? We can hear him. We can hear him, folks. Speak to me, big man. Speak to me. I must be going down in Lancaster today, folks. I'm sorry. We'll keep on pressing on and having some fun here, and we'll take a look at a few things here. Why don't we go over 301, 302 tonight? Washington and Dallas. If you take a look at this football game, is it the greatest football game? No. But it is a Thursday night football game, 301, 302, Kirk Cousins versus Dak Prescott. What have you seen, folks, out there for the Dallas Cowboys that really get you excited about what they're trying to do? No touchdowns, some field goals, really bad defense, blowing games at home, trying to get into the playoffs. Don't really have much at this point. But then again, what gets you excited about the Washington Redskins at this point? Kirk Cousins throwing around a little bit. They have a laundry list of injuries, which I don't know if I've ever seen in National Football League history. And I'm not even being facetious on that. It looks like every single player on that team is capable of missing the football game tonight outside of Kirk Cousins. You're going to lean heavily on Samaje Perine out there. You're also going to have, wide receivers banged up. Terrell Pryor never worked out on that 1-year prove me deal. He didn't prove anything out there. So we'll lean on Crowder. There's going to be no Jordan Reed out there as a tight end. It's going to be an interesting go for them. Vernon Davis going to be out there trying to hold it down in the middle. They're going to be able to score some football points, but the key ingredient here is what are the Dallas Cowboys going to do at this point? As we wait for the big man to get back, I don't want to give out too much information. I feel like if the big man's going to miss out on the show, we want to have some fun and certainly go over that NFL card and have a lot of fun. So I'm sure he'll yell once he gets back in here if his computer's not freezing, or maybe we'll just get him off the air where you just have like that little black screen up there. But Anyway, folks, Johnny, Jim, Guan again, Thomas, we'll have some fun tonight on that one. But looking overall at the game, some interesting line movement, though. If you're looking at the Dallas Cowboys and you're looking to bet them from a Dallas perspective, opening up at 1.5 with Pinnacle and Chris, depending on who we're shopping out. Now Pinnacle showing a -2 here in the favor of the road team, the Washington Redskins. The one interesting thing about this game when you're capping it, and Matthew Salk, talking on multiple shows here, going back and forth, the interesting thing about is it's not a true Thursday night football game. You know me and how I'm always a little bit leery on taking the road team on Thursday. But if you watched, obviously, last Thursday, which were true Thursday games on Thanksgiving, you had the winner and cover by the Minnesota Vikings, and you had the winner and the cover with the Los Angeles Chargers. And then you also had at night, the home team actually won that football game and covered, which maybe they shouldn't have when you're watching that overall, at least getting a push from the Giants side. But that late field goal was certainly enough to do them in. But tonight, again, you're not looking at a normal Thursday night game because both of these football teams played last week on Thursday. Both of these football games going to play tonight on Thursday. So that equates basically, folks, to a Sunday through Sunday game. So normal work week, normal preparation week, normal time to let the body adjust. But if you're looking at Dallas there, every single week we say it. There's one guy you have to make sure is in that lineup on that defense, and that's going to be Sean Lee. Looks like he's going to miss another football game. I believe that's going to be 3 straight since getting hurt early in the Atlanta Falcons games. That's not going to bode well for the defense. Hitchens banged up. A couple other linebackers. Durant, I don't think is going to play in this football game. Does it get any worse? And I know here about Dallas. DeMarcus Lawrence. And they're going to get some good pass rush out there. It looks like Washington has what's the word I'm looking for here? Sticky taped or, put down the tape on their offensive line enough to keep it together, move the football. They did beat the New York Giants last week. You saw them win in Seattle, which was, hey, I know Seattle's down. I know Seattle's banged up. It's still a tough place to play, which we'll talk a little bit later here in the week, probably tomorrow on that Philadelphia Eagles, Seattle Seahawks football game. But if we're just looking at this game, it's interesting. Pinnacle now dropping down to 1.5. And again, folks, SBRodds.com. You want these line moves? You want to take a look directly? Where is everything going? That's what's happening right now. Pinnacle down to 1.5. Chris still sitting at a 2.5 -107, which is really interesting because if that line gets up to 3, what are we talking about value-wise on this game? You're looking at a home team. I know Dallas Cowboys are bad, but what are the Skins and Dallas really playing for? Is there that faux, we're still going to make the playoffs. We're still going to have a lot of fun when we do that? I don't know. But the one thing I do like, if you're looking from Washington's end of it, even though they're so banged up on defense, still going to have Ryan Kerrigan out there to get after the pass rusher and Dak. Dak hasn't had a very good season. But the one thing that matches up well, forget about the entire secondary if you're looking at the Washington Redskins. Look at Josh Norman out there. What does Josh Norman do well? They're going to be able to line him up against a really physical Dez Bryant. These two don't like each other, so they're going to be having at it, much like Aqib Talib and, Crabtree out there fist fighting. I don't know if it's going to get that bad, but you see the commercials mocking each other with, I don't know, it's a Samsung Galaxy, whatever they're writing on. One guy saying, I don't like this guy. He can't cover me. That's all going to feed into tonight. But the one thing I do like is hopefully Josh Norman is going to stay with Dez Bryant to try to take him out of the equation. Will Cole Beasley be enough to beat somebody over the middle? How about Jason Witten over the middle? I don't know if Dallas has enough at this point. And the reason I say that is they are talented. They still somewhat have a good offensive line. Banged up a little bit. Lael Collins banged up. I know Tyron Smith's going to give it a go. Looks like Zach Martin, fresh off the concussion, he's also going to give it a go. Still have Frederick, one of the better centers in the NFL up front. But that explosion is not there right now for the Dallas Cowboys on offense, obviously with Zeke Elliott being out. So if you're looking from a Washington side of it on defense, Washington doesn't have the best defense, but they have some components that can really frustrate the Dallas Cowboys on what they do on offense. Under 10 points, 3 straight games. Do I think they're going to score under 10 points again in this football game? No. Oh, come on, man. Washington's not that good. And again, you're getting that full week. You're not having that short Thursday week that you saw last week with the Chargers, who have a really good defense coming on strong and have a good possibility of winning that AFC West. But just taking a look overall right now, I don't know if they have enough to get it done. But again, Washington, Dallas. What do we like? We have to bet on it, right? It's a Thursday night football game. You don't want to pass. I'm also going to have a video coming out in just a little bit once we get off the show. The judge is going to be in session. We're going to review this Washington-Dallas football game, and we'll certainly have a lot of fun with that and see where it goes. But a lot to go over, some lines shaping up. And one of the fun things I like about the NFL this week also, been a long time since some teams aren't on bye weeks. So you have that full, fresh card. It's not like you have to penny pinch and say, man, where am I going to find this action at when you're maybe 3-4 games short with so many people on the bye week? Factor in the Thursday night football game, factor in the Sunday night game. That short Sunday card usually doesn't stack up too well. But taking a look at this week, some interesting matchups here going on. You got Detroit, Baltimore, San Francisco, Chicago. That is an interesting one to me, the San Francisco-Chicago game. Because when you see the line open up at 3, you saw it even spiked like a 4 or 5 the minute Jimmy Garoppolo was announced starter. Now, what are we looking at across the board for? It's -3, -3, -3, over under 41 at that point. What did Mitchell Trubisky show you, in that last football game against the Philadelphia Eagles. Not much, but again, he's like he's playing with a hand tied behind his back, theoretically, because he doesn't have anything at wide receiver. And how many times are we going to hear about, oh, man, Jordan Howard, he's really going to run wild. And boy, the Tariq Cohen experiment was really fun for like the first 2-3 weeks of the season, but now doesn't seem to be, read and react out there too much if you are a Chicago Bears fan looking at that, because they don't move the football. But then again, you're looking at the San Francisco 49ers, albeit they're having an awful season, but they haven't shown any, interest in giving up on the football season, still going to play. And Jimmy Garoppolo has a lot to play for, folks. You're talking about if he gets a franchise tag looking at between $20 to $25 million. You don't think he wants to go out there and put on a show and come into play? I mean, you got to be kidding me on that. Again, if you're looking at 3.5 or 4 with the going against the Chicago Bears with the 49ers at this point, it's not a bad option. It's not a bad option to take the points in that, because I do think San Francisco is a buy-on team. Mentioned them yesterday on the roundtable going through it, saying, you know what? Look at San Francisco and Jimmy Garoppolo at this point. What are they playing for right now? Playing for jobs, playing for next year. Young head football coach, still wants to install his system. These guys want to put their best foot forward. Everything is on tape here. Who's going to stick around next year? Who's going to get paid next year? And I'm just not that big of a believer just yet in the Chicago Bears, and also the injured Chicago Bears as well. DP13 in the chat box says, Chicago, San Francisco, tough game to figure out. Coin flip. Jordan Howard will eat, though. We're all waiting for him to eat out there, aren't we? Like, we are all waiting for Jordan Howard to eat. You figured last week, if you were betting, I'm taking the Philadelphia Eagles last week. Got them at 13.5. Closed what? Around maybe 14 plus 100 plus 105. So the prevailing line basically was 13.5. Coming into that football game, you're saying, you know what? The Eagles have a really good rush defense. Eagles have a really good defense overall. There's no denying that whatsoever. But taking a look at the football game overall, you would say, what do the Chicago Bears, or how should the Chicago Bears come out and attack the Philadelphia Eagles? Keep it on the ground, screen passes to Cohen, running the ball maybe 25 times with Howard out of the backfield, getting on rollouts with Mitchell Trubisky, maybe using his legs and his arm strength to his advantage. It just didn't happen. So I'm sitting back and waiting on it. I know when you look at Chicago's other games, playing Detroit tough, playing Atlanta tough. The one anomaly game in there was kind of interesting was the fact that Green Bay was able to go in there and eat pretty well and beat them up at home. But coming again, what does Chicago have to play for the rest of the year? They're still trying to find out what Trubisky's got in there. And again, playing Chicago from a dog standpoint to me is a much better vantage point than playing them from a favorite, because you're asking Chicago not only to win the football game by 3, but possibly win the football game by a touchdown. I don't know if they can actually do that, but I'm still waiting to see how some of these injuries come out, who's going to play in this football game, and what they're actually going to do in this instance. But we'll keep rolling along until we get the big man on campus back in here. Jim Ford, welcome in. Sports Have Balls, welcome in here as well. Satan saying Chicago's defense is better, tougher schedule. I mean, yeah, I do agree with that. But, I mean, coming from a guy that's a huge UCLA fan, I don't really know how much Satan really knows about overall defense in this situation. But keep moving down the list. I think the game of the weekend, there's probably 2 of them. I mean, I'm an Eagles fan. Obviously, I'm going to like the Philadelphia-Seattle game on Sunday Night Football. Be really interested in that game. But if we scroll back up here a little bit, that 356 game, 64% of the tickets coming in on the Minnesota Vikings here. Early action. Obviously, that's going to change throughout the week. But that line opened up at 3, and I thought it was a really fair line. And if you look across the board right now, going over some of these numbers, you got Chris, you got Bet Online, you got Sportsbook.com, CG Technologies. They're still all out there hanging that 3-point line out there and expected some points here, which is interesting because one of these football games, it does have that similar feel to me. If you look last week between the Los Angeles Rams and the New Orleans Saints, 2 offenses that we've seen that had the capability of scoring points. But now you enter into playoff mode where everything matters. First downs matter. Don't turn it over matters. We just need to win this football game. We're not trying to grease the skids on our offense and really get into a rhythm. It doesn't matter at this point heading into December. You just want to win football games, and that's what this game feels like. You're going to get Devontae Freeman back in this football game if you're Atlanta. But the one thing that Minnesota, and I can't fault you, they are on a 7-game win streak. They're playing really good football. And overall in the NFL, what is the common knowledge there? Defense is going to travel. Doesn't matter really too much what environment you're going to play in. The defense is usually unaffected. If you're a good defense at home, you're probably still a good defense on the road. Outside of offense is usually, when you look at everybody likes to look at Drew Brees, home in the dome and then away on the road. I get that. There's always going to be a big swing there. But defense tends to travel. Xavier Rhodes, one of the better cornerbacks in the league. If you're asking me right now who the best cornerback in the league, to me, to be honest, got to be Jacksonville's Jalen Ramsey. I mean, he is unbelievable, follows you back and cross. And again, the same guy they played last week across the line of scrimmage. Love Peterson on the opposite side of the ball, but right up there as well as Xavier Rhodes. I mean, he's going to be mad. Who would you rather have? I mean, you have a top 5 cornerback that can cover just about everybody, super physical, fast, tall, can match Julio Jones. Is he going to shut down Julio Jones? I'm not really sure anybody shuts down Julio Jones. But if you want one guy that can shadow and play really good defense where maybe you use bracket coverage, but have that stud at cornerback that can shadow Julio Jones, he's the one to do it. So if you're betting from a Minnesota perspective, just overall looking at this game, forget about, all the details that they're a good defense. What do you need to stop the Atlanta Falcons? You need a good pass rush. Minnesota has that. You need athletic linebackers to try to keep up with Coleman and Freeman. They have that. You also need a good secondary. I mean, Harrison Smith is an unbelievable safety back there laying the wood, but forget about the safeties at this point. You need a cornerback that can get after Julio Jones. They have that as well. So they fill out all the check boxes here, but early in the week, trying to make a case, you know me. For the Atlanta Falcons, I'm trying to build a case for that home team. Won some good money on the Atlanta Falcons over the past couple weeks. Hit them versus the Dallas Cowboys, hit them versus the Seattle Seahawks. Was not betting them last week. I actually leaned towards going to Tampa Bay in the last game, but obviously we saw that ended up, I believe it was a Tevin Coleman touchdown late in that football game, which propelled them to the 14-point victory. But today I'm looking for Atlanta, man. I'm really striving to try to get into Atlanta and have some fun. Matthew Varnum in there, Donnie and Jeff. I'm sorry for not tweeting the show. Yeah, come on, Matt. We're going to have to dock your pay on that there. Andrew McKinnis, what's up, Andrew? Donnie, just a very casual follow the NFL, but I have to ask, with Dak not performing well while Zeke is out, has it made you slowly think less of him? Is he still that good? He's a good quarterback. But it's pretty evident at his evolution. I mean, he was, fourth, fifth round draft pick coming from a college offensive read option. It's going to take him some time. He does have the physical tools. Does have the big arm, can roll out of the pocket. I like him as a quarterback. I'm not just a Dallas hater and say he stinks. I mean, I'm going to say he stinks just because right now they're not playing well, and it's fun to always beat up on the Dallas Cowboys any chance I get. But over time, when you build him back, get him that good running back, he'll be fine, and he'll be a solid NFL quarterback for a decade. But I don't like them right now until they get their offense figured out, because he was buoyed a lot by a dominant offensive line, one of the best running backs in football over the past couple of years, and a little bit better Des Bryant, as I would say at this point. Big man, we back yet? No, don't look like we have big man yet. We'll get it together one of these days.
Yo.
There we are.
Fucking hell, Mike. Fucking hell, this fucking connection, man. There's always something fucking wrong. I sit here all morning. I'm ready for the show. And then what do you know? We get to the show and there's something wrong, of course. I mean, Skype is, what a shit show Skype is. My own. How you doing, Donnie?
Hey.
Good?
Yeah, we're hanging out, man. Look, we're just going over some NFL action while you were going there. I was going to segue in right away when you came in. Like, we're big. We're going to get into what the reverse jinx does for everybody here, right?
No, I swear to God, I didn't do a reverse jinx. I mean, if you'd watched the game, which many of us did, I mean, there was like 20 or 20 ties in the game.
Yes.
I mean, it was
You're correct.
A game that just went back and forth. But hey, that's what Duke does, don't they? I mean, I come out of the shower, I look at the score, I see Scott Van Pelt. I hear Scott Van Pelt say, "What a bad beat that was." I'm like, what do you mean, what a bad beat that was? And then I see Duke wins by 10. Fuck. I was loving it. Those happen sometimes. I really was not trying to do a reverse drinks, but hey, I guess it looked like that, and I'll take it.
No, what works for you there? By the way, I was watching the game laying in bed, and you're right. It was going back and forth. I knew what the line on the game was. And going to bed with about, maybe 8-9 minutes ago, it still was going back and forth. I'm going to sleep probably thinking, Indiana's probably going to, get this win at home, a big win at home. They're playing well at this point, but no doubt cover it. And I didn't see it until I woke up. First thing I usually do is grab my phone, scroll through Twitter to see what happened. I saw the cover by the Duke Blue Devils there. And I got a little bit of chuckle, and then right away I saw you people tweeting at you there saying, nice reverse jinx. And it comes in handy every once in a while. I'm not going to lie.
If that's the way they thought it was happening, then yeah, it was a pretty good reverse jinx. But yeah, that's what Duke seemingly has been able to do lately. I mean, they've been able to, pull away and hit some threes. And yeah, I mean, they've been a nice bet for me lately this year. So hey, I'll take it. It's a 1-1 night, not Donnie nonetheless. And it's no 0-2. So I'll take it. But yeah, there were some interesting things that went on in college last night. You had some good games. Miami, your boys from Miami, down to get a big win in Minnesota. Yeah, that's a huge win there for the Hurricanes.
Juwan playing well. Mm-hmm.
He is, and he's the key to that team. If he plays well, they will play well, because their guard play is a top 5 guard play in the country. I mean, they're really good. And to go into Minnesota and win like that, and by the way, the ACC has dominated the Big Ten in this tournament that they're having, a little, against the conference tournament. Miami, if they can get play like that from Hugh all year, they're going to be a tough team. I mean, they're going to be a team that I think you really have to look out for in the ACC to win that conference. Their guard play is that good. So huge win for them last night. That was a big one. We mentioned Duke. What else happened last night? By the way, Donnie, we were I was looking before the game, and there was a game that I had keyed in on. I was all over this Mercer Tennessee game, and I was thinking, well, if the best player for Mercer doesn't play, I'm off it. He didn't play, and what do you know? They get murdered last night by Tennessee. So that one didn't come in, but yeah, it was. Nova gets the job done. They cover. Early on, Donnie. I know this is you don't get involved in college hoops, and it's because of the volatility with the out of conference stuff. But you
Mm-hmm.
should be getting involved pretty soon. Conference play starts next week for Big
Yes.
Ten, Donnie.
Yeah, I'll be watching, enjoying it, taking those notes, getting ready to go. I'm excited. I love college basketball seasons. One of my favorite seasons by far, especially when it picks up in January, February, when you get to the meat of the schedules. And of course, is there any better time than like to me, Jeff? I mean, and I know it sounds sacrilegious at this point, but conference tournament play, I actually enjoy that more than the field of 64. If that sounds crazy,
No, no, conference tournament play is great. I mean, and
I
you
love
can
it.
bet on every conference. I mean, there's not one that's not lined. I mean, you could bet on the Atlantic Sun, you could bet on the
Yep.
MEAC, you could bet on the Big Ten. It's just it's a great time. The whole March schedule in general is really epic. I mean, really.
Yeah, it
So
is.
we'll continue it, Donnie. We'll try to keep it moving. The card for tonight's not huge, but there are some games, interesting ones. Michigan State, Notre Dame. Michigan State laying about 6 to the Irish, which what I'll get into. Uh, by the way, though, Donnie, last night I took it on the fucking chin with Penn State. Donnie, my game
Oh,
plan in this game
minus
was
two.
let
Would
me
they close? Minus two, minus 2.5. Would they close?
they closed, I think -2, but I took the
Yeah.
money line. I had it earlier in the day. I got it minus
Yep.
120. Listen, let me tell you my thought process here. Penn State going forward. This is something you want to keep in mind. They have a senior guard, Tony Carr, great with the ball. He's trustworthy. He can handle a press, and Kevin Keats runs a press. That's what he does.
Mhm.
Did it at
Yep.
UNC Wilmington. Does it at NC State. He runs the press. I figure, okay, he'll handle the ball. He's trustworthy. He'll drop 25, keep them in the game. I think he dropped 30. But my main thing was I didn't think NC State could realistically hit jump shots all night. They had only shot 28% from three. I was thinking this is a bad matchup because if they try to penetrate and go into the lane, Mike Watkins is in there, 3.5 blocks a game, one of the best rim protectors in the country. And he did fine as well. But what do you know, Donnie? The kid from NC State comes off the bench, hits 3 big threes. They seemingly can't miss from three. It's just one of those nights. I felt I was on the right side, but it ended up not being it. We'll take the loss. NC State, Donnie, I have 18 losses on the season, okay, out of 65. Two of those losses have been against NC State. They are on the naughty corner, Donnie. They're heading into the naughty corner for me. No NC State anymore.
Yeah, no, it's the same thing with me in college football this year. Was Old Dominion is really in the naughty corner. If I bet
Oh
on
yeah.
them, great. If I bet against, or excuse me, if I bet on them, bad. If I bet against them, bad. If I bet them in a total, even worse. It's just one of those football teams. But same way, we all have those blind spots, and you want to get back, and you want to keep looking at them throughout the rest of the season. Like, you know what? I'm going to get mine back. I guess it's sort of that case, Jeff, when you look at the Cleveland Browns, and you're like, you know what? I'm going to get this one this weekend.
Yeah, and as far as someone saying my camera's out of focus, I'm on another computer right now, so I'm not in my normal spot. I had to get on the show. It works for today. We'll get it figured out. The cameras. I'm gonna put the camera in the fucking naughty corner. The webcam. I'm gonna put that in the goddamn naughty corner. One other thing, Donnie, on college hoops, we didn't give him the love yesterday due to the fact that we had the round two. But shout out to Mike Dahm in South Dakota State. They beat Ole
Yeah,
Miss the other night. Mike Dahm, Donnie, is the best player in college basketball.
he's
I'm telling
fun.
you right
He's
now.
fun.
He
Watched them all
is
last year. He's fun, man.
he is an elite player. No one will agree with me because none of you have ever seen Mike Dom except for all these true college hoops guys. But Donnie, statistically, he's fantastic. He's going to be
I
the
love him.
all-time leading scorer in college hoops. And I mean, some
No,
of the
I,
lists
I,
he's
I
on are, yeah, he's great. But Donnie, what did you come up with on tonight's game? Not a lot to deal with there. What do you think in
Yeah, I'm
that
gonna have
game?
a yeah. I'm going over a couple things. I have a pretty funny little shtick coming out in a little bit when I put the judge's robe
Oh,
back
that's
on. But
right.
overall, going over it, Jeff. I mean, looking at the game, I went over it for about 10 minutes before you were figuring the computer out there. But it's not a true Thursday night game, so you both of these teams have equal time to prep the full 7 days. You can get rested and ready. But I mean, Jeff, you don't even have to at this point in the season. Sometimes you just look at football games and you say, you know what? I'm going to say what I've been preaching the entire season. Zeke goes out. They're not a very good offense. Correct. Check. Sean Elliott, or Sean Elliott, how about that? Sean Lee goes out, Jeff, in the middle. They're an awful
Sean
defense.
Elliott.
Yeah, exactly, right? Sean Elliott playing defense in the middle. But Sean Lee in the middle.
He might do
So
better
you
than
look at,
those guys do.
yeah. Actually, I think Sean Elliott would probably be a better version of any middle linebacker they have at this point. But when you look at the game, like you have those two check marks out. I know how bad Washington is. I know how bad Washington's banged up. But you have the two most important ingredients that are going to sit out again with Dallas tonight. Is anything going to change? They don't stop anybody and they don't score. What changes tonight, Jeff?
Yeah, and that's my thought process. Without Sean Lee, they're just not any good on defense. I don't know how else. Maybe if I say it in, Serbian or Albanian or Croatian, maybe you'll understand me better. But I just don't know that I understand why you would think this offense or no, I'm sorry, this defense is any better. And you get Tyron Smith back, great, big deal. How'd that work out for you last week, Donnie? They had him back last week. It didn't work too much. It didn't work too well. You're still going to have a quarterback that can pick you apart. Kirk Cousins can do that. Jordan Reed's out for the 8,000th game in his career. So, I mean, I think we're pretty much used to that at this point. There's still plenty of playmakers on the side of Washington. I agree with you, Donnie. Gun to my head, I'm leaning Redskins here just because I don't really think that the Cowboys are very good. They're not good right now on offense. Can't move the ball. Dak's hit a major wall without Ezekiel Elliott, and defensively they're a mess.
No, you're right. I mean, and you take a look at. I also brought up the one matchup you like. If you're looking at Washington, they're so banged up on defense, but they're still going to have a decent pass rush just because Ryan Kerrigan's out there playing football. But on the defensive back end, when you're looking at the secondary itself, you want a physical cornerback to match up with a physical wide receiver in Dez Bryant. Dez Bryant's nowhere near the player he was a couple of years ago, but he's still a physical presence, and Josh Norman likes to engage in that. So you have one guy that can handle Dez Bryant because Dez Bryant, he doesn't dominate football games any way, shape, or form like he did in past years. So you can take him right out of the equation. All it's all getting down to, okay, so who's going to beat you? Beasley out of the slot, Witten. I mean, come on. Like, who do you have left? And it's really been apparent over the last three football games. You didn't do anything against Atlanta. You didn't do anything against the Philadelphia Eagles. You didn't do anything against the Chargers. And now you're coming up against Washington, who I guess, out of all three of those teams, Washington probably is the least equipped on defense just because of the injuries overall. But what do they have? Like, what can Dallas expose on Washington? I don't know. That's the whole point.
Yeah, it's a shitty game, Donnie. It's not one that you're running to the window to bet on. But I like your points. I mean, they're very rudimentary points, but they make sense. The defense for Dallas isn't very good, and I wouldn't imagine that the Redskins will be able to move the ball against. Should be probably a higher scoring game, but do you trust Dallas to score points is the big question. I want to welcome in the chat box. Didn't get a chance to do that. Coming in a couple minutes late here. Let's get the likes rolling. Exactly, Robin Spears. Let's get the likes rolling. Let's let the good times roll. Let's get the likes going here. And I want to recommend everyone, please, if you're in the mood, I know college basketball season's here and it's popping off. It's going hard. Head on over to the contest page, sbrcontest.com. Join the contest. Join in with me. Donnie, you know what's fucking hilarious about the
What?
contest? Okay, I started it yesterday, right? I gave out a play yesterday. I get not yesterday, the day before, Monday. So I gave a play out last 2 days. Wouldn't you fucking know it? I go 1-1, and what do you think happened on the contest? I went 1-1 both days.
Jeff's losing it.
No. I gave out one play a day, and I gave out both losers on the contest on the video.
Gotcha. Well, you can only pick up. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
How classic is that? But
You're always
join me.
That, aren't you?
Yeah, Yeah, I am. I'm on the contest, and automatically I'm drinks. I'm 75% this year in college, but I give out 2 games on that contest, and I'm down. I'm losing. I'm 0-2. Join me. Check me out. Camera adds 10 pounds. Yeah, maybe on this
Thanksgiving adds 10 pounds for me. So
right. But head on over to SBR Contest. There's a lot of cool contests, Donnie. Not just the college hoops one. I know there's a bowl one coming up, Donnie. First place, $7,500. How about that?
yeah,
so
we gotta fly down.
I'll
the
be
joining to get it, Jeff. How's it coming? Bitcoin? How are we paying it?
I'm not sure. I would imagine it would be that would be something Zach Jones would have to answer. But Donnie, we got to get in this bowl contest. You and me. I mean, fucking hell. I mean,
I'm all about.
we can.
I want to get in the contest. I wanted to get in the NBA contest.
Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, I'm actually sitting on my couch here today. So I'm just kind of rolling, lounging around, doing the show. So I don't have a computer chair behind me. But BMOC is a shit, says Greg Matt. Thanks, Greg.
Yes,
Appreciate
Jeff
that.
is just,
But Donnie, we would want to know with Zach, what is the payout options? Is it Bitcoin, Settle down, Bruce Chad. We're not talking about Bitcoin. We're just asking, is it Bitcoin? How's this paid out? We're gonna have to come down and get it because Donnie, I showed you yesterday. The birth certificate's finally in the mail to me after 3 months. I'm one step closer to getting a passport.
Yeah, and then we can actually travel down as a pairing, Jeff. People don't think we exist. They only see us, screen to screen. I'm down in Costa Rica. You're not there. Is the big man really real? What's he look like? What's he like? I mean, when is the tag team duo going to get together down in Costa Rica? When are we going to appear in the same room and do a show, Jeff?
Whenever, as soon as I can get that thing, I'm in. And once I get the passport, or a birth certificate, it'll be easy. Dab on
And
them.
by
I
the
don't
way,
dab.
Jeff,
Yeah.
I just got word. Zach DM me behind the scenes. The $7,500 is not actual currency. It's $7,500 in swag at the SBR store. That's even better than money.
So you mean to tell me I can get decked out I can get all decked out in SBR gear and head out on the
Yep,
town?
SBR gear. It's got SBR is now the new collection is IOU shirts through SBR. Z Cavarici that we'll be reaching out to as well. So we have a lot of good stuff going on down there.
This is the comment of the day. The one thing I trip out is how big Donnie is. He looks like a big dude. Come on. What do you mean? What do you mean? I guess it means like your arms, Donnie, they look big.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm trying. Hey, man, I don't need weight gainer with the holidays around, so it gets good. But I do. I like to work out every day. Not so, Jeff. My adage is here. It's just a lifestyle. Because my wife always tells me, "Why do you eat all this food and then go to the gym?" I say, "That's the exact point. That's the whole point. I eat all this food and I need to go to the gym." Okay.
Yeah. I think he means more or less you look like brolic, maybe more or less.
Hmm.
Like you look like you got some muscles. Donnie did play college football.
Yeah,
But
at Duke.
hey,
Played with
yeah,
us Spurrier. Dave Brown was
played
my
for David
quarterback. We had
Cutcliffe.
some good
Well,
times.
David
Yeah.
Cutcliffe was the manager in waiting there. But Donnie, I have to talk about this. This is some interesting shit out of I guess the Hague, which is in the Netherlands. This war criminal that supposedly took poison and killed
Yeah.
himself
On the
on the
stand,
stand.
right? Mm.
Yeah, which a little bit of a backstory here. He's been in prison for many years. Um, Slobodan Praljic, he's been in prison for a while. Basically, Donnie, back in the Bosnian Wars, he was basically one of the commanders that ordered Bosnian troops to kill Muslims, the Croatian Muslims, during the Bosnian War. And basically, you know, he shouted what he shouted and he killed himself. Now, if he killed himself and that was actually poison, I'd imagine it was. I mean, he died. Donnie, I've heard things though, people saying that this is fake. Doesn't look very fake to me. I could see where you could come off that it's fake. It wasn't poison. It was just what would you fake that? What would be the point of faking this? I mean, I've
Yeah, I don't
heard
know.
that.
Okay, so you fake it. Do you get a lighter sentence if you faked it? Like, there's no point in not like, oh, I just drank poison. They're like, oh, okay. Like, does it matter to the court? Does it matter to anybody? The only thing it matters, I guess, is to you. You don't want to go do the time. So I don't know why it would be fake. What would faking do for him anyway? Sympathy?
Right.
Like, let him out of jail? I don't know.
I don't really get it. I mean,
Yeah,
he
yeah, yeah.
you have to wonder. I mean, how did he get this poison into court? I mean, maybe he said it was cologne. I don't know. How does this happen? Because you're patted down. He came from his cell. How does he get this into the courts? I mean, you have to ask. I mean, The Hague is basically. I mean, that's international court basically. That's the
Yeah.
UN and all that stuff.
You got to
How
be
does this
patting you
happen?
down, right? Come on. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, this is as much on the courts and the bailiff and all those people there than it is him. I mean, he's obviously got some mental problems, and that's clear.
Now, did he die?
Maybe he,
Is it like taking like cyanide? Like you're just going down for the count in like a couple minutes or a minute, or is this like I don't. Was there a video of it where he just like croaked out on the stand? I only
yeah,
saw like the
there.
Twitter feed where it's just like the picture of him like drinking it. I didn't watch
You
the
didn't
actual
see the
video or
video?
anything.
Oh, you got to
No,
watch the
huh?
video.
I
He
do gotta watch
basically,
it. I didn't know there was
he
a video. I thought it was
basically,
just a screenshot.
no, they basically give him like his like just a statement, and he says, I am not a war criminal. I've done nothing wrong. Blah 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 blah. And then he just grabs the little cup and goes like that. And the lawyer goes, Judge, I think my client in Croatian just drank poison of some sort, and he just
Now
falls
hold on. Now,
off.
now see if we want to poke holes in the story, Jeff. Like we want to play contrarian. If you're innocent, you didn't do it. Why are you killing yourself? Shouldn't you do the opposite? Like, I'm
That's
gonna fight
that's
this. I'm gonna fight this.
that's the I guess he's in a way, maybe he's lying and just trying to, you know, as he sees his day of judgment, he I don't know. I'm not sure. It's very odd. He goes, "I am not a war criminal," and then just kills himself anyway. So very odd, very weird. But this is a guy that, if you do any research on him, he was like a regular citizen, and he kind of like came up through the ranks of like the military, and he was part of like a party that during the war he just started going all crazy. But yeah, it's weird. They're gonna do an autopsy, I guess, and see what happened and what poison it was. But definitely very odd. I would definitely check out the video, Donnie. It was real weird.
I
Surely.
am gonna check that out today. Absolutely.
But yeah, Donnie, we have to ask, how would you handle that in your court?
That's you know what? That's gonna be a tough. I'm not, you know what? I might go over and I might still like read him his rights, Jeff. I'm like, no, you know what? You took the poison. You're gonna sit right there and you're gonna hear everything I have to say. What is gonna happen?
I want to hear what you would do in this situation. You have a defendant who kills himself on the stand. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, you got to hold him accountable, Jeff. You got to hold the guy accountable. I mean, like, if I like, I'm gonna have the Redskins and the Dallas Cowboys on trial today. Somebody might go down on video today. Might have to throw Jerry Jones out of court today. Might happen. I mean, it's going to be pretty interesting.
Yeah, we're excited to see your what's it called, Donnie? Your take or whatever.
Building the case. It's not, it hasn't
Building the
come yet. My glasses haven't come yet through Amazon. They're supposed to be here today, so I can add that added element where you get real serious when you're about to read the verdict. I think I need to enhance that and put that into the show.
I agree. I like the little gavel and the little coat. That comes off well. Donnie, we have a problem for Conor McGregor. I don't know if you've been reading, but I
Yes,
read
go
the
ahead.
tabloids. I read the tabloids over in Britain quite frequently. Donnie, I got to tell you, I'm becoming an honorary Brit. I have to say, I think my whole life is British media and British TV. I'm almost gaining an accent. I'm obsessed with it, British culture, and I found out that Conor McGregor's got a little bit of a problem. There's been reports that basically over the weekend he was in Dublin at the bar, and I guess he got into a little fight with a couple of lads there in the pub, and happens to be that the men involved are related to a very heavy, well-known gang, basically, Donnie. And according to several different crime reporters, Conor McGregor might have some trouble here with this whole thing. Basically, they're part of the Kinahan family. It's basically the mob in Ireland, and they don't give a flying fuck that he's a world superstar, Donnie.
Yeah, I don't know how much I mean, Conor McGregor's the ultimate hype man, like the ultimate. I could see him like cooking something up like this to get his name back in the press and for his next big fight. It's a great angle. I mean, I don't know how much I would buy into that. First of all, if it's the mob, why are you swinging on mob guys? And I don't know. It doesn't make too much sense to me. If you're swinging on mob guys in the bar, like wouldn't the mob guys already be packing pieces and ready to handle it right on the spot? And now I see like reports, oh, somebody's flying to Dubai to pay like $5 million so his son doesn't get killed. Come on, he's an international, fighter who's widely known. Like if somebody was after you, wouldn't you just? How more obsolete can it get? Or not obsolete is the word, the opposite of obsolete. Like how much more easy it is if something happens to me, who actually did it. Like I'm not buying in the story. I just think he's a great hype guy.
According to his father, it's bullshit. But again, I mean, this is another story that doesn't make a whole lot of sense because if you're Conor McGregor, you go into this pub, you see this is your hometown, by the way. This is near where you live. Um, you would think if you get into a fight with someone, there should be someone there to maybe, hey, listen, we had a couple too many drinks. But then you also have to say to yourself, if Conor McGregor's knowingly swinging at gangsters, that's a problem. He should know better than that. Donnie, let me ask you a question. If you're out at the bar, right, and
Yes.
you're from Ozone Park, Queens, and you walk into the bar and John Gotti's sitting there, hanging
Yeah.
out, chilling, are
Yeah.
you going to look to
Like, yeah,
pick a fight
yeah,
with
like
him? And
like it's not like you swat like what was the I guess in Training Day where Denzel goes and he kills a Russian guy, but he didn't know it was a Russian guy at the time. Then he found
right.
out like if you go in there knowing like, oh, John got it, let me just go over there and like slap him in front of everybody. Like, how's that supposed to go down? You know?
It's interesting. Brian Tanzi is from Ireland, Donnie. I know him. He's a great guy. He's saying that according to
Hmm.
according to him that Conor McGregor's been coked up since the Mayweather payday, and he's gotten a lady pregnant in Liverpool. So that's concerning. Conor McGregor seems to be running out all over the place. I'd imagine his ego is off the chain. Great point, Gregory. And according to Brian, he knows someone that worked in the pub and says it's 100% true. I would think it is. From what I understand, Donnie, through the things that I've read about Conor McGregor and kind of his shady, seedy underworld past, supposedly he has this infatuation with gangsters. Supposedly he runs with some of them. Some of them are his friends. I wouldn't doubt this story isn't true. And I would imagine that these guys over in Dublin, they don't give a fuck who he is. He should know better. He shouldn't be going into pubs anyway. Unless it's a big one. I'd imagine this is probably some neighborhood little bar. He went in, tried to act like a fucking tough guy, and did something stupid. So now he's got to deal with it. But Donnie, you're not going to walk into up in North Philly. You're not going to go up in North Philly to one of the Puerto Rican bars and start mouthing off. I mean, it's not something you do.
Like you're not going to go into
better.
the saloon down in South Philly and just start running your mouth about certain things and
Yeah.
about certain people. You just stay out of the way, man.
I mean, what are you doing? Especially in your, if you're in your hometown. I mean, it's just something you don't do. I mean, I know some people this might be nuts too, but like in certain spots, you just don't do that. You don't go into a bar or whatever and you start mouthing off and then go at some of the big bosses in the area. They don't give a shit who you are. They're not going to take that shit. And I would imagine they're going to try to get something out of this. Maybe we should get that fight on TV, Donnie. I'd much rather watch that over anything here. Dublin. Yeah, Dublin. North Philly's lit.
That was certainly an interesting one when I saw that pop up on the screen yesterday. So, Gabe was actually retweeting it around too, and everybody was trying to corroborate the story and what goes on. But does it surprise you? I mean, does it like one of those guys that just thinks you have the weight of the world? Like, shut up before I smack you, and then he just like says, "All right, watch this. I'm gonna what are you gonna do to me?"
I mean, he's got the biggest ego in the world. That guy, like, he thinks because in the ring he can fight people. I'm gonna tell you right now, and I got some shit for this on Gabe's show before. But Donnie, do you remember a couple weeks ago where Conor was at a fight for, like, I guess a friend of his?
I did see it. And he jumps into the octagon. He's like pushing
my
the ref.
my whole comment. Yeah, my comment was, where the fuck was security there? Like, he's not in the fight. Back the fuck up. You're not coming in here. I mean, I'm security for a reason, aren't I? You don't just let random there. I mean, it was ridiculous. He thinks he's literally bigger than anything. And these guys, some of these Irish guys, listen, I believe what Brian Tanzi says. He's from that area. I'd imagine he knows. For me, I wouldn't think it looks good for Conor McGregor. This isn't good. The old guy who got caught in the Conor crossfire was not a gangster, not involved, but he is the dad of Graham Whelan, one of the psychotic members of the Kinahan, known as the WAT. Okay, so there's the story right here, Donnie. We got our Irish crime reporters right here. This doesn't look good. Donnie, in your court, what are you ruling? Who's in the right here, Conor or the guy? The guy's definitely in the right.
Yeah, the mob. Like there's certain elements that you don't mess around with because it's the same thing as saying like, hey, do this with a gun or that. They don't care. They're career criminals. They don't care what's right and what's wrong. Disrespect in that community, Jeff, is the death penalty usually, isn't it?
Yes, correct. And by the way, Donnie, they're not called the mob in Europe. They're gangs, Donnie.
Hooligans?
Just gang. Hooligans are different. Hooligans are part of, like, they're a glorified gang.
They fight for respect. Yes.
Correct. They fight for their football club or whatever. So yeah, this is not good for Conor McGregor. Dad's downplaying it, but I get the feeling that there's some problems here. And I'd imagine, I mean, these boxers, these UFC guys, especially ones at this level. I mean, Donnie, I wouldn't disagree. I'm sure he's doing some coke. He's probably fucking everything that walks. I mean, that's just how it goes, I think, sometimes. Great stuff, though. Great, some really good stories, Donnie, in the world right now, as far as entertainment's concerned. But I'm sure he'll pay them off, and that'll be it. Other than that, Donnie, what else do you have today? Any? Are you looking into any college? Anything that you're?
Let's talk a little bit of college football out here. I mean, we could certainly go into some college football, like what's going on. Let's forget about college, actually, the games itself, Jeff. Can we take a minute here to talk about the Tennessee coaching vacancy and what they're looking to do with it at this point? Good grief, man.
I actually have an interview later today. I actually heading after the show. I got to get in the shower and get ready. I got to head down to Knoxville to get interviewed for the position, Donnie. I heard you're interviewing after me, so looks like we're both in line for an interview. I mean, Christ, who haven't they interviewed, Donnie, for this position? And now it's
But it's
Dave
it's not
Dorn.
even like yeah, like I mean, and like
I mean, last
first of
night
all,
wasn't it
you're Tennessee. Go.
wasn't it Jeff Brom? Now it's Dave Dorn.
Yeah, it was Jeff Brom. Yeah, and then they messed that up by, offering this, and they can't do this, and they can't do that, which is makes me get back to like Tennessee. Like you're Tennessee. What are we looking for here? Like at Tennessee, you're never going to get John Gruden. You're not going to get Urban Meyer. You're not going to get Saban to come over. You're not going to get a huge Power 5 coach to leave their school and come in and coach your school. What are you looking for at this point? You go after Schiano, who no doubt would have did an okay job. Would he won national titles? I don't know if anybody could at Tennessee. He would have been fine. Jeff Brown would have been fine. But now you're down to let's bring in T. Martin? Like, is that really what it's down to, Jeff?
I told you that's going to be the last fucking resort. They're going to do all this stuff, and they're going to say, well, you can always go back to old reliable T. Martin.
God. And then the fact that the fan base, similar to when you look at Jeff, the Cleveland Cavaliers. LeBron spurned them and said, I'm out, I'm bouncing. This town in the Rust Belt, that's cold as hell. You guys, I'm winning Jack here. I'm going to Miami. I'm going to win a couple titles. You son of a bitch, don't you ever come back here. Burn your jersey. You're never going to be a native Cleveland guy again. Hey, guys, by the way, in a couple years, I'm looking to come back. Oh, my God, please come back, LeBron. Like, Lane Kiffin showed up to your school, took a shit on your school for an entire football season. The minute he got a call from USC, it's like, yo, guys, this is Bumble, backwater, Tennessee, redneck city. I'm going back to USC, brother. See ya. Out of here. Tennessee, never even heard of you. Fast forward a couple years. Lane, please come home. What is it with fans that are beaten down? It's like that, beaten syndrome where the more you get beat, the more you sort of like it, I guess. Like, why would you want anything to do with Lane Kiffin if you're Tennessee when all he's doing is trolling the hell out of you right now? And you're like, bring him back. Why?
I said time and time again, Donnie, this is one of the worst run university sports programs I've ever seen. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, this is what a bottle job here they did here to screw this up. I mean, Donnie, no offense, and I mean hearsay's hearsay, but at the end of the day, Greg Schiano, Donnie, what was that? I mean, wasn't Greg Schiano proven that was a rumor and not true? I mean, am I wrong here?
What? Why they didn't? What, the whole Penn State thing?
Yeah, it was proven as not true. No.
Yeah, he had nothing to do with the situation at all. So then, in theory, Jeff, right?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So when
You
the point I'm about to make is go ahead.
No, you got it. Go ahead.
No, I was saying like the guy from now the offensive coordinator for James Franklin now is going to Mississippi State. Why doesn't Mississippi State rise up and say we're not taking the guy from Penn State? He's still associated just by name. We don't want him here. Like, Schiano had nothing to do with any part of that case, wasn't deposed, wasn't charged, didn't come up in any report, but yet they didn't want him. They wanted to start a ruckus, so they say, we just don't want anybody from Penn State. So in theory, anybody who's ever gone, like Saquon Barkley going into the NFL, you can't draft him, right, Jeff? He's undraftable.
The problem,
from Penn State.
The problem they had at Tennessee was they fell into, buying into what the fan base was cooking. Fan base didn't want Schiano, so automatically they caved into pressure and said, you know what? We're not caving into pressure. We run this university. We're making the best hire possible. We're going to go with Schiano. They fell into, all I heard was, these people, they have no idea what they're doing. They're going to protest, blah, 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 blah. And look, do I understand? Yeah, they didn't want Greg Schiano, but I mean, to bring up the old Penn State thing, it was proven that was a rumor and had nothing to do with Schiano. So what are we doing here?
No, and you're also looking at an institution, Jeff. Like, let's not look at the bastion of integrity and great coaches. Derek Dooley, Butch Jones. Like, if you're talking, like, who's a better coach, right? If you're just starting a football team today, Derek Dooley, Butch Jones, or Schiano, who do you think could get the program back on its feet faster of those three guys? I mean, come on. Like, you're acting like you went from Derek Dooley and you're going back to Derek Dooley or something like that.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Greg Schiano here.
And I don't even love Greg Schiano. It's not even like the greatest coaching hire, but when you hire Schiano, it's not like you're going to go off. Like, he does have proven he's been in the NFL. He's been in college football. He's won in college football. He's been known. Like, what are you looking for at Tennessee? Rebuild your brand. This guy went to Rutgers and won. He won 11 games in a season at Rutgers. If you're looking to
But
rebuild your program, come on.
what does this say about your willingness and your ability to make decisions? What is I don't get it. So basically, you caved after some students did a fucking the students do a protest on anything nowadays. You basically caved, and what does this say? That you can be
And who's
basically
acceptable? Yep.
right, right.
Who's
Everyone, they have a
like, is
problem
it
with
John? Like,
everybody. They pick.
we're not going to sleep until we get Urban Meyer here and Nick Saban. Like, is that what they're just going to do to every coach? Or we're not
This
going
is
to, like,
a
Bill Belichick needs to come back to Tennessee and coach or something. Come on.
right. This is a brutal. This is, and now nothing will be good enough because everyone that they pick now this is why, and again, would I like to see certain, like fan bases have kind of a some sort of power in clubs? Sure, but this is what happens when you buy too much in to what the public wants. You have to lay the law down and say, we're the decision makers here. We're the professionals. Stay the fuck out of it. We'll do what we want, and you're gonna have to deal with whatever we decide on. They
And then they
decided on
started
Greg
falling in love with
Schiano.
Gundy. Yeah, like, and then they,
Oh
they
yeah,
pile up money on Gundy and all, like, he's
give him
coming. Yeah, he's
7 million a
coming. We're
year.
going to
He says
offer him
no.
more money. Like, why would Mike Gundy go to Tennessee? He's always going to, which
'Cause he's
every
smart.
college coach does. Yep. Every single
He's a
college
smart
coach
guy.
in the world does the same thing. And you see what's happening right now with Willie Taggart. You see Jimbo Fisher. It's the same thing. In college, you have leverage as a football coach at a winning organization or a winning team because every other team theoretically is going to want you. So Gundy goes and says, you know what? I love Oklahoma State. Watch this. I'm going to take a plane ride. I'm going to talk to them. And you know what happens? You know what T. Boone Pickens does? Picks up the phone and goes, hey, Mike, look, we know you don't want to leave. I don't want you to leave. You getting what? $6 million a year? Let's bump this to 7 and call it a day. How about that? Done deal. Cowboy for life. They use you all the time in this situation. I remember when one of my favorite ones ever, Jeff, was Schiano at Rutgers back in the day. Remember before I guess they fired Randy Shannon at that point, before they hired Al Golden. They're looking around for coaches, putting a search committee together. And one of the more dick moves I ever see is Schiano have a press conference and pull his name out of the running for Miami when he wasn't even offered the job. So I mean, college coaching circles make me laugh, but that was one of the most funny things I've ever seen is coaches pulling their names out of like searches when they weren't even included in it. It's so much hearsay. It's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, but now you're screwed because you threw money at Mike Gundy. I mean, you wanted to make him one of the highest paid coaches in the country. He says no to you because he doesn't want to get involved with this shit show. Look at Matt Rule. Do you think if Matt Rule could do it over again, he would have decided to do what he did? I got a real feeling
He
he's
got a
saying, "Look,
lot of money though. Yeah,
but
that was one of those where I'm going to
Donnie."
take that money and run.
But what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that he would have said no to moving on. I'm just saying, don't you think he would have maybe listened to other programs before he picked Baylor? Because listen, if it's Baylor, Texas, and if it's Baylor and another school, I'm going to see what the other schools have to say before I decide on Baylor. Because probably out of all three, they're probably the least, least excitable program that I can get
They
around,
were headed for
just because.
Yeah, they were headed for doom too.
Right. And again, I mean, the congressman that was involved, great point by some of these guys in the chat. The congressman that got involved on this, I mean, you got to look at his principles. I mean, he's basically saying we don't want Shauna there because we heard he had something that he knew in the whole Jerry Sandusky thing. Okay, but it was proven that he did. So you're basically bullying him at this point, saying we're going to hold this over his head. I would sue him if I'm Greg Schiano. Can't you sue here? Is there any suable
No,
ways to
there's going to be
go about?
he'll get a settlement with Tennessee. The Tennessee is going to settle
You
with
have
him,
to.
like give him a couple hush money because yeah, you
It's
can't do that. You can't say I'm going to hire you and then
discrimination.
all of a
No.
sudden take the backlash and you know
Yeah.
defamation, all that stuff. It's interesting because you see usually when there's smoke, there's fire. But as soon as that comment was put out there, well, they don't want him because he's connected to this. You saw all the people come out. Everybody has fangs and are haters. If there was one iota that Greg Schiano was involved in something, he would have been pasted there. And you forget, too, as well, Jeff, after that, I mean, he got head coaching jobs in the NFL, went to Ohio State. He's been around the block. It's not like this is some brand new thing that happened like 2 weeks ago and people just know about. He's been vetted on multiple jobs already.
And I need Zach Jones here if he's available. I know we got to wrap it up, but I do want to ask one question here. We got to get in touch with someone, Dave Mason, whoever, and see who are they going to put up a prop for this on who's going to be the next coach? Because I see one who's going to be the next coach at Arkansas, but we need one on who's going to be the next coach at Tennessee. How many people would you put in there, Donnie? I mean,
Million of them.
Christ,
And also, yeah, talk about the coach at Arkansas. Like Malzahn wants to leave Auburn to go back home. I mean, it's really interesting stuff.
he's actually the favorite right now, plus 150 to get
I
that
know.
job.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
we gotta get a Tennessee one. Kim Jong Un might be on there. Maybe Donald Trump. Michael Jordan might, decide he wants to coach football. Donnie's going to be on there, so we got to get a
Yes.
prop up there. But we'll talk about this and more on the show tomorrow. Everyone have a great night. Enjoy the day. Don will be on a little bit later the the little make a case video. He'll be doing that. Everyone have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow here on the right side of camp.
Peace.